It's alright, it's okay.
So much for introducing you, go ahead and introduce
Okay.
Anytime this is a snake show.
I was thinking it was a Tupperware. You know how I've always got all my
There's a
decorations?
snake in there.
And so I was going to try to get to the microphone so y'all could hear and raise it up
Well,
for
it's
them.
already on. Okay, alright.
First off, though, did you want to introduce me?
If you want me
I
to
did.
introduce you, I'll introduce myself.
Okay.
Alright. My name is Hunter Ivy, and today here Thank you. Okay. Well, anyway, my name is Hunter Ivy, and I'm here today with some reptiles. Of course, you've seen the poster out there that says Snakes of Alabama, but I don't really actually own any snakes that are actually native to Alabama. However, I do have some snakes that I use here that I actually educate people about that are related to the two snakes that actually are native here in Alabama, which are the pine snakes. What I have here are bull snakes, and these are actually native to other states, the western areas of the United States. Now, these are related to the pine snakes that we actually have native here in Alabama. We actually have pine snakes like the northern pine snake, including the southern pine snake. Also, we even have the black pine snake. We also even have the Florida pine snake. Florida pine snake and the northern pine snake and the black pine snake are protected. And Fish and Game are trying to do their best they can to actually, always care for that snake and make sure it lives longer and also the population can go well. There's also other snakes that are being protected by the Fish and Game, like the indigo snake, which are snake eaters. They basically eat other snakes, and also they're known as the black bull snake. However, they get bigger than regular bull snakes do, and they actually get up to 9 feet, and they live in South Alabama. They live mostly in Florida, but they're endangered due to climate change and stuff. And of course, Fish and Game are always trying to do the best they can to save them and also get their population back and everything. And there's all kinds of snakes in Alabama. There's non-venomous snakes and venomous snakes. Now, people always get the term poison and venom confused, but the correct term is actually venomous. Now, when it comes to venomous snakes are not dangerous unless you mess with them. If you mess with them, they do become dangerous. So if you ever see a venomous snake out in the yard or anything like that, just don't mess with it. Just try to leave it alone. Don't come near it that much. Just try to leave it alone, and it won't bother you at all. I've dealt with snakes for years, and I've dealt with a bunch of snakes. I've dealt with non-venomous snakes and venomous snakes. I even dealt with a bunch of vipers. I've dealt with cobras too. I even dealt with all kinds of other snakes during my career. So I've dealt with all kinds of snakes ever since I've been working with these kind of animals and stuff. These are animals, and we do have to respect them from a distance. And it's always good to actually learn about these animals. And also, I should mention this to you: there's actually no good reason to kill a snake at all. Snakes are actually snakes are misunderstood, but we should really respect them for who they are, because they're actually really good animals to have around here. Without them, our world would be kind of doomed. We have rodents here that do spread diseases, and with the snakes, we actually have them to thank, because they're getting rid of all the rodents that do spread diseases. Also, there's even snakes that actually get rid of Lyme disease, because Lyme disease is one of the most deadliest diseases everyone contact. And Lyme disease is actually tracked by ticks. According to some snakes that actually eat rats, they actually get rid of the Lyme disease, which is a good thing. Because Lyme disease is very deadly. You do not want that kind of disease at all. There's been reports of timber rattlers eating rats that have Lyme disease in them, which is a good thing, because if we don't have them snakes, we'll definitely be covered with Lyme disease everywhere. That would not be good at all. So what I brought here today are some snakes of mine. These are snakes I actually keep at home, and most of them are captive born, and some of them are actually wild caught. I rarely keep wild caught, you should know, because some wild caughts have parasites in them. It's better to keep captive born because captive born have no parasites, they live longer, and they also still live a very good life. Well, again, here are my bull snakes. These are both captive born, and I'll bring one out. This is James right here. He's the male. This is a non-venomous snake, and these are actually related to the pine snake we have here. And of course, these snakes are actually friendly, or sometimes they can be a bit hissy and defensive and bitey, depending on their behavior and stuff. But this one right here, this male bull snake I have at home, it's actually very friendly. He's never bitten me at all.
How long is he?
Oh, he is around 4.5 feet long, and he could be about a few years old. He's actually having a female and trying to breed these guys. So far, he hasn't bred yet, but he's a really nice snake. He's a really friendly male bull snake. It's one of my favorite snakes to have around with me. I always bring it with me to birthday parties, including school presentations. That's what I usually do. I do birthday parties and school presentations because it's always important to be educated about these animals. These animals are really intelligent and really interesting to learn about. They're really unique animals. They're actually not bad animals at all. If anybody has questions about them, please ask me. Yes?
Can I hold it?
Yes, you can.
Oh,
Take his picture.
Charlie, where your phone at? 'Cause my phone won't even take it. Let me put it on you. Have he ever bit you?
Oh no, James has never bitten me at all. He's never actually, ever attempted to bite me.
Look at my
Really-
camera. You look
It's
scared.
really nice snake. It's over here.
I just expect to come out under.
Or should I grab it?
You don't need to grab it, just let him slither on you because you
Oh
don't
my
want to grab,
goodness.
you don't want to grab the snake.
Slither on
Just
him.
grab the snake, will never be.
Somebody that.
Just let it slither.
I guess.
Yes, you'll slither on you.
Oh my goodness, he's going up to his head.
Hey.
Turn around,
Turn around.
sir.
Oh, turn around, honey. Oh, this is for your mama.
Yeah, just let it slither. Just let it slither. When you're holding snakes, just let them sliver. Don't really grab them because if you grab them, they will get scared and they will tend to bite. If they try to.
Why does he move his tongue in and out?
Well, because
Turn
they
your
use
head
it
to the
sniff.
right, he'll kiss you.
He's
Turn your head
sniffing.
to the right,
Yeah, they're
he'll kiss
sniffing. The tongue is sniffing. In fact, they're trying to sniff. So what he's the reason why his tongue is sticking out a lot is because he's trying to sniff you. He's actually trying to climb on you.
He's
That's
saying,
why.
"Ooh,
He choking you.
No, he's not choking. He's not actually. This is not a constrictor. This is actually a colubrid snake, and they sometimes mimic the venomous snake.
Are you saying boa constrictors are the only one that constrict?
No, not really.
Oh,
Boa constrictors do constrict. They are constrictors. However, there are other constrictors that do constrict. Like, for example, the pythons. The pythons constrict too. There's also other snakes that constrict too, like colubrids constrict too, because some colubrids are not venomous, and some. Oh no. just let him sliver. If you
my arm out?
Yeah, put your arm out. Okay. You can put your arm out.
What?
He's like, you go,
On my back.
now he's coming back. He didn't like the way he smells.
He's checking you out from one side to
He's
the other.
just shaking you out. You're okay. You're fine.
He's probably saying, this is not my
I sure
house."
want to fall.
He's
Don't
looking
worry.
for that,
It's on.
he's looking for that girl.
He's fine.
When they want to kill a mouse or something, they bite, they go after them with their mouth?
Well, basically, what they do is when they see a mouse, they don't really see it. They actually sense it by the heat. So they don't really see the mouse and chase it. They basically see their heat by their heat sensing pits. Some snakes have heat sensing pits and some don't. It depends if they can actually see the prey they're chasing. Some snakes will go after rodents, but also go after frogs, lizards. Some snakes will even go after other snakes too, because there are some snakes out here that do eat other snakes, like the king snake.
How do it feel on you?
Are they cold?
Tell us how it feels.
Feels kind of cold.
It's cold. You can feel his tongue sometimes.
Yes, the snakes are cold-blooded, so you will feel the cold tendency of their body heat.
Feels nice though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's a nice little dude.
Oh yeah, he's very nice. James is very nice indeed.
What's your girl's name?
Oh, that one right there? This female bull snake? Yeah, that's Grace, but she's a bit mean at times. Yeah, I read that.
And she's like a woman.
So how you do?
Oh, Lord, Jesus.
Oh, no.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Get it.
It's alright. It's alright.
You almost emptied your room.
It's okay. It's
Young
okay.
man.
He's not dangerous. He's not dangerous. He's fine.
Ma'am?
Are you with Miss Bonasano? Tell everybody who you are, because everybody's wondering who you are.
Oh yeah, I'm Miss Bonasano's
That's her grandson. He brave.
What's your name?
Charlie.
Charlie.
Welcome, Charlie.
I'm proud of
Does anybody else want to hold him?
you. Does anybody
Listen, let me ask a question.
What's up?
So you said that's the male, that's the female. How you tell by the color?
Well, you actually can tell by the tail.
Excuse me, Hunter, if you would raise that microphone a little bit for you and then repeat the question when somebody asks you, because they can't hear in the back.
Okay.
Well, I'm trying to say.
Oh.
Thank you.
Okay.
now?
Thank you. Okay. What I'm trying to say is that the only way to tell the difference between a male
Well, Ron's
A,
gonna be
a male and
glad his
female
name-
is actually by their tail. So if I grab them. Their tail can actually tell
He likes you
whether
better.
it's a male or
He likes
female.
you better than me.
So what's the difference with the tails?
If the tail is actually long and thick, that's a male. If the tail is actually short and stubby, that's a female. And this right here is a female.
You said she was mean. Hold up.
Well,
The door's that way.
she's only mean when she's having a bad day.
That's all true of all of us, right, ladies?
That's right.
Otherwise, we're perfectly charming.
But she's been a bit chilled so far. This is a female, and this is how you can tell between a female and a male. Is the short stubby tail right there. And they have a different shape of quiglia right under there. That's the female. So it's got a little stubby tail at the end. And the male has a long, thick tail. That's how you can tell the male and female.
You think
I'm not gonna get that
he
close.
likes her.
Kiss.
Uh-oh. Daddy's interested.
Does it?
Anybody else? I don't see any volunteers.
Go ahead. Ask
You
your
go
question.
ahead,
So
Ron.
this is
You
actually a white-sided bull snake. And this is a female. She is about 5 years
Oh,
old.
Lord. Can't leave her.
She can be a bit hissy at times. There are moments where she does tend to defend herself. Now, bull snakes do have a tendency to act like a rouse snake. What they do is they vibrate their tail against something to sign a rouse snake. And same thing with other snakes like pine snakes and gopher snakes, and even bull snakes as well. Don't grab them like that.
Okay.
Let's give Ron a big hand for bravery and courage.
Yeah, these snakes are just slithering everywhere.
Does it hurt when they bite?
It does hurt a bit when they do bite. But for a non-venomous snake, it only hurts a little. It's not too bad. I've been bitten a couple times by non-venomous snakes, and it does hurt a little. I've been bitten by her a couple times. But
So, is it true, their fangs kind of curved back?
not really. Well, when it comes to venomous snakes, their fangs will definitely come on out and try to inject venom right into you. They will definitely come on out when they open their mouth. And venomous snakes are the ones you got to watch out for. But as long as you don't bar them too much, they won't really mess with you. As long as you don't mess with them, they won't mess with you.
I'm just gonna stand there long enough to try to figure out what kind of snake.
But
I was just thinking that when they bite you, it's best to pull them out that way, because if you pull them,
well, if you yank them, that will kind of hurt them because
hurt them. What about you?
me. Well, it will hurt me. However, you have to. The only way to basically get a snake off of you, if it holds onto you, the best way is to try to massage her jaws, or probably spray some alcohols in her mouth. That way it will go.
Spray some alcohol.
Oh boy, here comes Evelyn, she's
Yeah.
gonna
I
be.
never felt, I just really would like to feel one.
Well, they're really nice. James is the only one I trust with people.
Will you stay close
Hello,
enough to
James.
her?
Hello, James. If you
Just
do
let him
breathe,
sliver, don't really try
Oh,
to
sure,
grab
well,
him because if you
don't grab him, all right.
You just watch him.
Smile, you're looking good, Miss Grosbrine, smile for me.
Of course.
Darling, you're looking great.
James, smile at it.
You're okay with the camera.
Hello, James.
Hey, James.
Yeah, James is very sweet. He's a very sweet snake. He's like the sweetest snake I've ever had.
You wanna touch him, Miss Bunny?
Now, but I have a question. If you do breed them and they have a baby or more, do they have more than one at a time?
Yes, they do have more than one at a time.
And are they live birth?
Well, these snakes they actually lay eggs.
Okay.
He's in my shirt. These snakes lay eggs, and of course, these snakes do need some cold temperatures when they're getting ready to breed. And when they're breeding, they basically stay in hibernation for up to 2 months.
And they have more than one at a time.
That's right. They do lay more. They do lay more than one egg.
Do snakes give birth or do they lay eggs?
Well, there actually are some species that do lay eggs, and some species that do give birth. There are different types of species that do give birth and lay eggs. It depends on what species you're dealing with. I mean, there are not all the snakes I actually have in my collection are all egg layers, so I do have to get the same species that lay eggs. So.
You got
So
another
I'm actually,
volunteer.
it's all right. Just don't grab him. Just let him sliver. Just let him glide. Just that's okay.
Now, if they eat their,
sweet.
if they eat their prey, that they're catching a mouse or something, do they eat it whole?
Yes, they eat it whole. They can definitely swallow a whole mouse.
Even this bite?
Yes, they can.
Turn
That's,
around.
it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You're okay. You're okay.
If you get it from one side, you got the tail up.
I'm sharing books.
You're okay. You're okay. He's just a little scared. Yeah, he's all right. He's just a little scared. He's never bitten anybody. I've never seen him bite anybody at all.
Good job, Miss Thompson.
Now,
Can I hold the big snake? Is
now
that big one asleep?
that big one right there,
Uh-huh.
she's just basically just relaxing herself. That one's that's a blood python. Those are constrictors, and pythons they lay eggs, and of course the boas, which are other constrictors, they give birth. Yes,
We want to know what kind of a snake that is.
that's a blood python.
You're gonna go now?
The one that he's holding, Miss Cubby, is that what you're asking? Miss Webb, what are you asking?
The colorful.
What kind of snake is it?
Which one are you asking about? The one that he's just putting back in the box? That's called a bull snake.
All right.
Yeah, I call bull snakes.
Well, he likes to perform, he don't wanna go back in there.
Yeah, he likes being held a lot. Yeah, it's not for the bull snakes. Relax. So what we got here is a python. This is actually a blood python. These are actually native to Asia. Oh, come on! It's all right.
How big an animal can that blood python swallow?
Well, these pythons can actually like eat big meals. They can actually eat into a small rat a week. And these are heavy bodied snakes, so I need to like have 2 hands to support this snake. So, because this snake will be crazy if I do drop it.
How often do you have to feed them?
Well, this snake right here only eats like a week. It eats like a week each. And this snake is actually a python, so if this python is having a bad day, it will try to constrict me. And also, what they do to constrict, they use that muscle. They basically use that muscle. They basically use their jaws to grab on their prey, and they basically squeeze the prey to death. That's what pythons do. They basically squeeze their prey to death when they grab a hold of their prey item.
Now, a python that big could eat a little French poodle, right?
Not really. Not really big enough for that. This snake gets up to 6 to 8 feet long, and this snake do eat rodents. They also eat large rats. That's what they eat up to. And of course, this snake is a female, and because of the short, stubby tail. They also this python even has another name known as the short-tailed python. That's why they get the name short-tailed python, because they have a short tail. And
What's her name?
her name is Faith. Yeah, her name is Faith.
You got Faith and Grace.
Yeah, this is Faith, and she is a matrix blood python. And she's a friendly blood python, but some blood pythons are kind of like very temperamental, so they'll basically hiss and strike. But this python has never bitten me or struck at me. Although she will strike at food. Every time I give her a mouse, she'll strike right at it and grab hold of it and just eat the whole entire thing after a while. After that, she definitely has a really active feeding response.
Are those your personal belongings, the snakes?
Yeah, all these snakes are actually mine. Yeah, I do actually own these for quite a while. I've owned her for 3.5 years.
Do you have to have a state license or something?
Not really. It depends on what snake you're keeping. There are actually some snakes you do need permits for. Like for example, the snakes that are actually endangered here. You do need permits for those. Of course, there are other snakes you need permits for, like the ones that are actually like non-native venomous. Those need permits too. Yeah, non-native venomous actually need permits as well. But this snake right here, you don't really need permits for it at all. It's a non-venomous snake, and these are actually everywhere in Repticons and reptile shows and stuff. You'll see them for sale where people buy them as pets and stuff. But I do not recommend these snakes for beginners, because these are more advanced than ball pythons are. Ball pythons I recommend for pets, but these snakes right here, I do not recommend as these pets.
How much does it weigh?
This,
She weigh?
she weighs about like around 15 pounds from what I'm holding stuff. All this stuff I'm holding is basically muscle. It's all muscle I'm holding. Now snakes do have bones. They have like wish like bones when it comes to these snakes and stuff.
Is that the kind that'll crush a baby?
Oh well, some pythons will definitely crush humans if they will crush humans if they get really mad with a human. But not all pythons are aggressive. Pythons only attack if they're messed with a lot. If pythons do consider you as a threat, they will try to defend themselves and will try to constrict you. And also, pythons are even attracted to heat, so they'll definitely go after something that's actually body heat. So that's what they go after when they find prey.
Is she full grown? Or
She'll get a little bigger than this. Yeah, she's about 3 she is a pretty sweet blood python. Now, when it comes to snakes like this, you do need 2 hands to support it, because holding a snake like this can be really stressful. Because holding a snake, because it's a really difficult snake to hold at times, because it's a very heavy-bodied snake, and these snakes do actually carry a lot of weight, and they actually stay constipated up to 8 months. So that means they can actually hold their fecal matter up to around 8 months, and when they get ready, they eat out a big old stool. Yeah, she stays constipated for that long, and it's normal for a blood python to be constipated that long.
Do you live at home?
Yes, I do.
Does your mother live there?
My mom knows I have these snakes at her house. Yeah, she knows I have these snakes, and so she does get used to them and stuff.
Is she older?
Not really. She doesn't really hold it.
She's smart.
Well, she doesn't hold my snakes that often because she doesn't really like mess them at all, because she's not really that big a fan of snakes. But she knows I love snakes so much because I always love reptiles. I always love animals, because these are the kind of animals do need to be respected and stuff. They need to be treated better and everything for people and stuff. Because I hate when people try to kill them and everything, because people do not need to kill them at all, because there's no good reason to kill them. Yeah, this is a really nice snake. I mean, snakes are very intelligent. They're actually really unique creatures to have around, and they're actually really good animals to have. So they take care of the bad animals that we don't want here. Yes?
Have you had any dealings with an anaconda?
I've dealt with an anaconda before. Those snakes can be really tough to handle. And I've dealt with large snakes before. I've dealt with reticulated pythons. I even dealt with Burmese pythons, which are huge snakes indeed.
Burmese, did you say?
Yes, Burmese. Yes, Burmese pythons are by far one of the biggest snakes in the world. Those snakes can go to 20 feet long. Yeah, those snakes can get that big.
There's
On
one
our
there.
TVs, twice in the last week, they had anaconda playing. And it was amazing. I mean, I guess it was true because they were showing photos like a documentary, where they would swallow the entire person.
Well, it is true. It is well. Here's the thing about for snakes swallowing a person. It's almost uncommon. It's actually really uncommon for get swallowed by a snake, because a snake cannot really digest a human. Because us humans are very bony. It would be impossible for the snake to digest. So it will be almost impossible if a snake try to eat human and try to digest it. It won't work.
The swamps in Thailand have those 20 feet long.
Yes, they do, because reticulated pythons do live over in Asia, and you'll tend to see those snakes in Thailand and probably Asia and stuff, because that's their native area.
I spent a few years in that side of town, so I've seen a few of the big ones. But the one that we need, and I want you to go over this for them, is the coral snake, because it's the only one that actually is dangerous here in itself.
Yes, coral snakes are dangerous, and I'm actually wearing a coral snake belt. As you can see, it's a red, yellow, and black. If red touches yellow, that would be a dangerous fellow. Red touches black, you're okay, Jack. That's basically the pattern right there. So red touches black for coral snakes. Red touches black for coral snakes. It's actually not venomous. And red touches yellow for coral snakes is actually venomous.
Well, I spent 7 years in Fort Walton Beach, and the only time I was ever scared was I thought the coral snake was going to bite.
Coral snakes will bite. They are venomous, and you always got to watch out for them. They can be very bitey snakes. However, with coral snakes, they can actually basically produce small amounts of venom, because they have small, thick fangs. And some people mistake them as rear fang snakes, which is not true. They're not rear fang at all. They are actually, in so that means you cannot kill it.
Yeah, but 17-year-old Yankees don't know that.
Yeah. There are also other coral snakes that are actually in Amazon area, and also other places like South America. But those kind of coral snakes are very different from the ones we have in Alabama. On those coral snakes, they're different. They're just red, they're red and black and red and yellow, and so you can't really tell which is which.
I don't know anybody that would want to.
Well, here in the southeastern part of the United States, the only way you can tell the difference between a coral snake is by their color patterns, and that's red touches yellow, dangerous fellow, and red touches black, you're okay, Jack. Red touches black means it could be a milk snake, or it could be a scarlet king snake. Scarlet king snakes do have red touches black, and they're actually non-venomous and they're harmless. And people do mistake them as coral snakes, but they're actually really interesting snakes, and they're actually king snakes. They actually eat other snakes. But scarlet king snakes are small king snakes, so they eat small snakes, and they also eat lizards.
Is a water moccasin and a cottonmouth moccasin the same?
Not really. Water moccasins and water snakes are not really the same. The thing about water moccasins is you won't really see them like swimming in the water. You will see water snakes swim in the water. The thing about water moccasins and water snakes, the difference between the two is that water moccasins are venomous. They basically are known as the cottonmouth. Now, cottonmouths basically have that name because they have a white mouth. They basically show for a defense mechanism. And when it comes to those kind of snakes, you do have to be careful around those because they are venomous. Now, according to them, they are not really that deadly. The deaths are very rare from a cottonmouth, and they don't really swim in the water that often. They do swim above water. They basically stay on the top layer of the water, but they don't really go in the water that often. Now, water snakes, on the other hand, they'll definitely go in the water a lot, and people do mistake water snakes as water moccasins. And there's actually a complete difference between a water snake and a water moccasin. What I have here is my Lizards and Snakes now of Alabama book, and it will show you what the difference between a water moccasin and also a water snake is. Let me put it back. I can show you some pictures of a water snake and a water moccasin.
Do they live in those containers when you have them at home, or are they in something else?
Well, I actually do have them in their tanks. They actually do have their own tanks at home. This is just the containers I use for display and bring them with me and stuff. So they don't really stay in these containers at all. I just put them in these containers for display reasons and stuff. So this is actually Lizards and Snakes of Alabama. This is actually a book that's written by Mark Bailey. So it's one of my favorite authors. It's written by Craig Geyer, Mark A. Bailey, and Robert H. Bow, who are basically the writers of this book. And according to this book, this tells you all the native animals tells you all the native reptiles that we have here in Alabama. So we're going to go to a page, and we're going to find the water snakes. Let's see if we can find the water snakes here. Okay. So we're going to go with the water snakes here. So this is the water snake. And that's actually a banded water snake right there. This is what a water snake looks like. Not even close to a cottonmouth. Not even close. So you tell the difference. So the difference right here is basically their structure. The structure is very different from cottonmouths.
Cottonmouth has a broader head, right? Bigger head.
Yeah, they have a broader head, and also water moccasins will even try to flatten their head just like a venomous snake. They'll flatten their head into the shape of a venomous snake to make themselves just look like one. That's what gets people to make them think that they're because cottonmouth has like mad cat eyes. If a cat eye goes like this, where it looks like they're actually mad. Now water snakes, on the other hand, they have brown pupils.
I'm not getting that close.
So we have all kinds of water snakes here. They're
Copperheads stay underwater too.
well, copperheads they do tend to swim, but they don't really go in the water that often. They mostly stay on land. And this right here is a copperhead. So that's a copperhead. These are common. We have two types of copperheads here in Alabama. We have the northern copperhead and the southern copperhead. The ones you see here a lot are the southern. The northern ones are up in the north. And to tell the difference between the two is their colorations. The southerns are actually brightly orange, and the northerns, on the other hand, they're actually darker brown, or a darker color.
Are they venomous?
They are all venomous. Both copperheads, both copperhead species are venomous. This right here, it's cottonmouth. This is a cottonmouth right here. As you can tell the difference between a water snake and cottonmouth, you can tell that they're nothing alike. Although they do intend to get near water. Now water moccasins, they don't chase you. They basically just have no business messing with you at all. I've dealt with cottonmouths before, and from my experience, they're not very aggressive. They're actually, they only strike if they're messed with a lot. If they are messed with, they will strike at you, they will defend themselves. Of course, they also rattletail against them, they mimic like a rattlesnake. So they do mimic rattlesnakes. These snakes eat rodents, they also eat frogs, they eat lizards, they eat fish. Now, they will go out and fish, however, they don't really swim in water that often. They will swim above it, but they won't actually swim in the water. And water snake does. Water snakes will swim in the water a lot. Water moccasins do not actually, have a mating thing. It's actually a myth. And water moccasins don't get in boats at all. That's also a myth too. There's a bunch of myths surrounding water moccasins, and they're all not true. And the thing about water moccasins, they basically are not native everywhere. They're actually native in the southeastern area. So people think they're native everywhere. That's actually not true. They're only in the southeastern area. They're not really native everywhere. So if you ever live in the very northern part of the United States, you won't even find cottonmouths there. If you're in Alabama, you'll find cottonmouths everywhere. There are a bunch of cottonmouths here. They're in swampy areas, basically areas where it's actually kind of wet and stuff. Yeah, they won't be near any ponds or lakes because that's where water snakes hang out. Yes.
I've had a situation where three of my neighbors in different spots in the south, their dogs have apparently been bitten by a snake or something. That's because a dog will probably go up and get too close to them. Is that it?
Yes, that's true because.
And then you have to get them to the vet right away because they get so swollen and.
Yes, and it's actually true that snakes will basically defend themselves if you do get close to them. Because when it comes to people coming too close to a snake, the snake doesn't really know what they're up against. They don't really know you, so if you do come too close to them, they have the right to defend themselves because you're getting in their personal space. It's just like where a person doesn't want you in their personal space. That's how some people are too. So basically, the snake is just telling you, "Hey, I'm venomous. Better back off."
I will.
Yeah.
Dog doesn't, see, because they can really mess up an animal.
Yes, they can. Yes, they can.
And one of my neighbors, I swear he had the neighborhood out looking for this snake that they just saw. But she got really sick.
Well, basically, you don't really need to find the snake that.
But he got it.
You don't really need to find a snake to bite the dog. The doctors will actually know what actually bit it and everything. As long as if you tell the doctors what by dog,
They start taking care of it right away.
yeah they'll get the antivenom and actually and stuff.
But I just
Yes, animals are curious, and so is snakes. Snakes are also curious too.
Catch combination.
Yes.
Are there more snakes out at night or in the day?
Snakes will usually come out when they want to. Well, snakes do come out during the warm season. They also sometimes come out at night. Some snakes are actually nocturnal, meaning in fact they'll actually hunt at night. And some snakes will be active during that day, during that time. And once they're that way, they'll basically go out for prey and try to find it and kill it and eat it and stuff.
Well, what if they live during the winter down in the dirt, in the earth?
Well, they actually live a lot of places. You can find them in the woods. You can definitely find them in grassy areas. You can find snakes up in the trees. You can even find snakes around in backyards if you're actually near woods and stuff. Sometimes snakes will even come out of the ground and you don't even notice it. Yeah, and you'll also see them come out of holes that chipmunks made. They'll even come out of holes that probably other animals have made too.
There's a resident here who has a picture on her phone. She was out walking around.
The snake make a hole inside the floor make a hole, that's why.
She was out walking around the creek here, and she's got a picture of a snake that's kind of up around the bushes, you know, and it's about 5 feet long. She thought it that day because she was talking about all the snakes around here. But
That probably could be a rat snake or something like that. Those are non-venomous, and they are common to basically go into holes and also come out of there too. There's also other snakes that come out of holes like garter snakes that do that too. There are all kinds of other snakes that basically go into holes and stuff. There's also other snakes that are basically related to venomous snakes, but they're not really deadly at all. They're actually known as rear-fanged snakes. There are two types of venomous snakes. There's actually venomous and rear-fanged. The difference between the two is basically this: one actually has front fangs, and the other one basically has fangs in the back, which are known as rear-fanged snakes. We do actually have rear-fanged snakes here in Alabama. We actually have hognose snakes. We have garter snakes that are rear-fanged. Most people think they're non-venomous, but that's actually not true. They actually are rear-fanged. However, venom is not really that bad to worry about. If you do get bit by a garter snake, the bite will be pretty itchy. It won't be that bad to worry about at all. Now, hognose snakes, they are rear-fanged as well. If you get bit by a hognose snake, it will give you a swollen hand, but not really that bad to worry about either. They're not really that dangerous. They're not really prone to bite. Most rear-fanged snakes are not prone to bite, and when it comes to rear-fanged snakes, they only bite when they get way too scared. And some rear-fanged snakes will strike, so you always have to be aware of that. But there is rarely any anti-venom for rear-fanged snakes because they have a very poor delivery system. Now, however, there are some rear-fanged snakes that are considered to be very deadly, like the boom slang. Those are native to Africa, and those are by far the most deadliest snakes in the world. So you have to be careful around those. And the rear-fanged snakes we have here are not really that bad to worry about. We also have ring-necked snakes. Ring-necked snakes are rear-fanged snakes as well. They're really harmless colubrids that you'll see on the ground, and they don't get that big. They only get about like 15 inches, and they're actually really harmless. They are not prone to bite, although one did try to bite me one time. But it won't really matter if it try to bite me because, from what I read, their venom is not really that bad to worry about. They are slightly venomous. Yes.
Do you carry anti-venom at your house?
Well, I don't really need anti-venom for my snakes that I actually have with me at the moment. If I do tend to get venomous snakes, I do need to get anti-venom. But however, we do have hospitals here that have anti-venom available at all times because we do have native venomous snakes here, and it's important to get the anti-venom. However, the anti-venom that we have here is mostly crowfab, and crowfab is one of the most expensive anti-venoms to actually get, and they do charge a lot of people for that anti-venom a lot of money. And I'm excited venom is mostly work with vipers and also rattlesnakes and stuff. But there are some articles telling that it's not very effective on some rattlesnakes. However, it's been successful on some vipers and some rattlesnakes that are native here and stuff. And I will say that that kind of venom is very expensive. It's very expensive. I think it's better for the hospitals to use regular antivenom than this crowfab, because I think crowfab is way too overpriced to use, and I think crowfab should not be used at all. I think it's better to use regular antivenom, because regular antivenom is cheaper and it's actually better to use. Crowfab is just a really expensive medicine they actually used to use for those kind of snakes.
How old were you when you became interested in snakes?
Well, I became interested in snakes ever since I was a child. I've been working with snakes for years, and basically the first snake I ever held was actually a reptile boa. Reptile boas are also known as a boa constrictor. They can get really big. They can get to about 12 feet long. And they are constrictors. They will constrict their prey and basically grab hold of it and just constrict it to death.
Well, how old were you when your mother let you bring it in the house?
Well, I was in my 20s when I first started getting snakes and stuff. And my mom had to get used to them because she's a bit scared of snakes. But she is trying to get used to it because she knows me and basically knows how I am with snakes and everything. She knows how I am with snakes. I've dealt with all kinds of snakes during when I was a child and stuff. And I also dealt with other reptiles too. I dealt with lizards. I even dealt with other creatures like turtles, including like an alligator too. I mean, yes, I've dealt with an alligator as well. Yes.
Tell them about the spider.
Well, I do have a spider, it's a tarantula, but I don't really have any tarantula spider right here with me now. But I do have some creatures that are found in the desert, and they are related to scorpions. But these are known as vinegaroons. Vinegaroons are scorpions, however, they have no stingers. They do have a whip-like tail. They rarely bite. They're non-venomous, and basically about them is the only thing they do for defense mechanism is they spray a vinegar-like smell, which smells like vinegar. It's so potent vinegar. It's very strong. I do have two of them with me right here. I can actually bring them out.
Do they like you? Are they named?
Yes, they are named.
Do you have any trouble getting girlfriends?
That's funny. Well, I've dated 5 girls before, but I'm mostly the person that breaks up with them. This right here is actually a vinegaroon. It's a type of scorpion. And what they do is they spray a vinegar-like smell. You'll find these in the desert, and they do tend to come out there in the desert. But
Can I see the near, please? Can I see the near?
yes, sure.
Hunter?
Yes.
Hunter?
Yes.
We're about ready to run out of time. I wanted you to be able to show that other precious animal in your other box also before we go.
Okay. All right.
What'd you say that scorpion's name
Next
was?
time we have one of those skunks.
If he's hoping
He's
for
willing.
charity.
Yeah, may work.
Okay, I think we have time for.
I believe not that started.
I think we have one time for. We have time for one animal. I'll be last.
Here's
We're gonna bring out here. What I'm gonna bring out here is actually native to Amazon. It's actually native to the Amazon area. And this snake right here, these are native to Brazil. They're native to South America. And this snake does have appearance of a snake that you may find interesting. They actually do have a hood. They actually have a hood. They actually do have a hood, but these are not what you think they are and stuff. They're not really cobras. This snake right here is actually known as a Brazilian smooth snake, but most herpetologists that have dealt with this snake before call it the false water cobra.
Did you enjoy it?
So yeah, this is actually Spartacus.
That's Spartacus.
Yeah.
That
This
sounds
is-
like a snake
Yeah.
rather than James.
What was the name of the snake I was holding?
That was a bull snake.
No, what was its name?
James.
James.
James. Matthew? James.
So this is actually a Brazilian smooth snake, or also the false water cobra.
And he has a hood,
Yes.
See his face.
What does that mean?
Do they
Show
just
like a cobra, your big hood that comes out.
They use the hood to defend themselves, and when they get mad, they will flare that hood out. And this snake does have a hood, and it's basically just flat and horizontal. These snakes are nothing like cobras at all. They basically just leave their hoods flat and horizontal, and they don't really act like cobras. They basically just try to get away from humans. They will bite when they are really scared.
How is their vision?
How is their vision? How is their vision?
Can you see that I'm bald, for example?
Well, these snakes' visions are pretty good when it comes to prey items. I mean, this snake, most snakes go by heat, and when it comes to these kind of snakes,
I'm cold, snake. Over there.
yeah, most snakes are trying to body heat, so they'll go after body heat and stuff. Now, these snakes are native to the Amazon area of Brazil, and you'll find these snakes near water because these are semi-aquatic, and these snakes do tend to like to swim at times. They actually like to soak their whole bodies in water, and not only that, they'll go after other animals that are in the water, like fish, including like frogs. They'll also go after lizards. They'll even go after other snakes too. These are very cannibalistic snakes. They'll go after a lot of animals they can munch on and stuff. They'll even go after rodents too. These snakes right here, they used to be endangered in Brazil, but thanks to conservation and thanks to captive breeding and everything, these been actually more common to have.
They used to make beautiful boots out of it.
Well, no, I will never recommend that at all.
What did you ask?
Never recommend snake boots at all because I don't like it when people make snake boots out of real snake skin. What I do prefer is shed skin, because shed skin is a better use for boots. You can actually use shed skin for boots because shed skin is just like real snake skin. However, it's actually not really like real snake skin. It's actually shed skin. Meaning the fact these snakes actually shed the skin they used to have and stuff. I do have shed skin in a bag. I can actually show you what it's like to actually.
Are there any cobras that are not?
Get out in the house. Anita's real worried about your mother.
So this right here is the snake skin. You can definitely touch it if you want to. I'm going to get one out for you guys to hold and see what you think.
Is this from anyone we know?
But can you sell that to somebody to make some out of?
Yes, you can. You can definitely sell this stuff to make things out of. You can make this. You can make this stuff. You can actually use this stuff to make belts, or even shoes, or even bracelets. This is actually a better way to make bracelets and all our stuff because this is actually all shed.
Yeah, it's more like material.
Yes, it's a better material to use than real snake skin because real snake skin is definitely not a good thing to use.
Oh, sure, now you get free.
And is this snake going to grow bigger when he lets his skin come off?
That's right. When they get bigger, they do molt their skin. And then,
And then they do it every year, they molt it every year after that, so they can keep growing.
yes, they do molt it about almost every year. They sometimes even molt it about like,
Is that some of your snake?
yes.
It looks like a big snake to me.
So this is actually around 7 feet long.
I don't wanna touch it.
Yes, touch it, let me
It's
do
all
it.
right, it's all right.
It's fine. Anita, touch it. Go ahead.
It's real, it's
It
real.
feels
You have my permission.
Anita, you can do this.
It feels like honeycomb.
It does like a
It's like a
honeycomb.
honeycomb.
I thought maybe it was folded over, but it is.
Yeah.
It's not
It's
strong
all-
enough.
it's
All
all
one.
It's tougher.
Yeah, it's all one. This is
Yeah,
one,
but
all
if you
one
take it off
shed
the snake
skin.
himself, it's,
Yeah, I've got a good shed from Spartacus. This is from Spartacus.
they use them as a brand too.
It's okay, it's okay. It's not alive.
She did it, she did it.
Almost, almost.
It's just
That's the skin.
That's how beautiful that snake
Anita,
is.
your great grandchildren will love a picture.
I have to go.
Well, that's all the time I have right now.
I appreciate it very much, thank you.